President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated in a business lunch with the Russian President Vladimir Putin and the African leaders. Earlier on in the day, President al-Sisi, along with the 45 presidents of the African states, participated in the second Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Forum in St. Petersburg. The details follow.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended on Thursday the opening session of the second Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Forum held in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. President al-Sisi, along with 45 presidents of African states, are participating in the two-day summit, which aims to enhance and develop Russian cooperation with the African continent. Opening the Russia-Africa summit, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Moscow is determined to enhance its trade relations and investments in the African continent. On the sidelines of the Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Forum, President Sisi took part in a roundtable meeting that his Russian counterpart Putin held with heads of African regional organizations. During the meeting, Putin said that the African Union is Russia's top partner. Meanwhile, President Sisi participated in a meeting of the leaders of the African Initiative for resolving the Russian-Ukrainian crisis that was held in St. Petersburg. Egypt is one of the 6 African countries that drew up the initiative in June. The meeting was also joined by Comoros President, who is the current chair of the African Union, as well as presidents of Senegal, the Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Africa. On the sidelines of the Russia-Africa Forum, President Sisi held a meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The president said he looks forward to activating different aspects of joint cooperation between Egypt and South Africa, including the trade exchange, joint investment opportunities, as well as coordination over Pan-African issues.
Earlier, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held summit talks with the Russian President in St. Petersburg. The talks focused on boosting the distinguished bilateral ties binding the two countries over the last 80 years. President al-Sisi stressed the importance of the Africa-Russia summit, saying its second version will have great results. The president also appreciated the Russian support in establishing a Daba nuclear plant. For his part, the Russian president praised the distinguished bilateral relations with Egypt, adding that several joint mega projects are under construction. Putin also noted that the trade exchange between Egypt and Russia increased last year. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made a phone call with his brother Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates, in which he extended his condolences to the United Arab Emirates' leadership and people over the death of Sheikh Saeed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, representative of the ruler of Abu Dhabi. Presidential spokesperson Ahmed Fahmy said that President al-Sisi offered his sincere condolences to President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, over the death of his brother, Sheikh Saeed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the representative of the ruler of Abu Dhabi. He said that Sheikh Saeed had made a great bid to serve his country, in addition to his fruitful role in boosting brotherly relations between Egypt and the United Arab Emirates. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reviewed the outcomes of his participation on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the International Conference for Migration and Development in the Italian capital, Rome. During a cabinet meeting in the new Alamein city, Madbouli stressed the significance of the President's participation in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg to boost the dialogue over facing common challenges. The Prime Minister hailed the positive outcomes of the meeting in Russia between President al-Sisi and the Russian President Putin, who praised President al-Sisi's role in launching the first edition of the Russia-African Summit during the Egyptian presidency of the African Union in 2019. Egypt condemned the breaking into Al-Aqsa Mosque by the Israeli government officials and hundreds of extremists. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry said that the repeated storming of Al-Aqsa would not hit the legal and the historic position as an Islamic worship site. Egypt called on Israel to immediately stop those provocative acts, as they might result in dangerous repercussions on the regional stability and security. The Israeli occupation forces have prevented the Muslim worshippers from entering the mosque and broke into Qubbat al-Sakhra Mosque. Egypt said it was following with concern the developments in Niger. A foreign ministry statement stressed the Egyptian keenness on peace and stability of Niger and the maintenance of the constitutional and the democratic institutions in the African country. The statement further underscored the Egyptian full solidarity with the Nigerian people, calling on the need to place Niger's interests as a top priority and to protect the lives of Nigerians. Niger's armed forces chief had declared his support for the troops who announced that they had seized power despite a defiant stand by the country's President Mohamed Bazoum. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting with Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister and his accompanying delegation who is currently visiting Egypt. During the meeting, Madbouli suggested forming an Egyptian-Vietnamese business council, with Egypt considered a gate for the Middle East and the African markets. The Prime Minister asserted that Egypt is looking forward to expanding trade exchange in various fields with Vietnam. For his part, Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister said that the consultations had started with Egypt on signing a free trade agreement between the two countries. The cabinet said in a statement that Egypt approved 3 binding oil and gas agreements to drill 13 wells with investments worth $319.5 million. The agreements include 2 projects to search for gas and crude oil in the Mediterranean Sea and 1 project to search for oil west of the Gulf of Suez. Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated, being affected by selling operations by the Arab and the foreign investors. The main EGX 30 index lost 0.33%. The small and medium EGX 70 index added 1.7%. The more expanded EGX 100 index also added 1.1%. The overall transactions and dealings within the session reached £2.4 billion.